Hello and welcome to another episode of After Bloom. I'm here with Mary Lou Suter, a Bloom member, and we're going to have a little chat today. Mary Lou, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you, Russ. I'm glad to do that. I'm a relatively new member of Bloom, having joined about a year ago. Marilyn and I, my partner Marilyn and I, moved to the Coachella Valley, and we're seeking a new church here, having left a very progressive Christian church in the St. Louis area. So when we moved here, we were seeking a similar church if we could find one. And we had a difficult time doing that. But more about myself. I was raised upstate New York, in western New York State. I married and had 2 children, and I now have 6 grandchildren. And I was fortunate to live in many places around the world during my life. Most of those places being third world countries. So in each place I lived, I was fortunate to hook up with a group, join a group, most often a women's group, and we were able to do some charitable, some local activities to benefit the people who lived there.
Wow,
So
super.
it was a good, a different kind of maturing process for me. We like to think when we're 20 or 21 we're mature, but that's not correct. It takes a while to really understand what the world's about and your place in it. So that's a little bit about myself.
Wow, it sounds like you have led, and I can tell you, based on all our activities at Bloom, still continue to lead quite an active and fascinating life.
Well, thank you. It is an interesting place here in the Coachella Valley. The needs are many, and I feel that God put me here on earth to make a difference, and I think we all have that hidden in our heart somewhere.
I think so. I think you're exactly right. I feel that same way. So you were led to Bloom from a need of finding a church that looked at life essentially the same way that you did.
Absolutely.
And what does Bloom inspire in you?
For me myself, I have to remember to speak about myself. Bloom inspires in me the need to continue to mature as not just as an adult, but as a human being, as a Christian, as a person who tries to follow God's will. And that's not an easy thing sometimes.
Sometimes not.
But it's a very rewarding kind of thing to attempt. I can't say I'm always successful. I don't think any of us are. But the important thing is to keep trying and to be serious about it. To take a risk now and then.
Yeah.
And I admire so many people at Bloom, and I enjoy their company. And I think when I grow up, I'd like to be a lot more like many people at Bloom.
Wouldn't we all?
Yes.
Wouldn't we all? Well, I think a great many of us are, and myself in particular, I would say inspired by both you and Marilyn, because you just jumped in. You didn't say, okay, maybe I'll help at this point, or you didn't say direct me to where I need to help. You just plain jumped in. And I like that about people, I have to say. I mean, individuals that just, because that's how I was kind of raised. You just jump in, you see where the need is, and you fill it. You don't wait for someone to tell you to fill it. And I think for myself personally, that's one of the things that I admire and respect about the two of you, and that I feel make you folks, just such wonderful people.
Well, thank you. And for me, it's not about me being a wonderful person, hardly. To me, it's more about finding a place in a community, a faith community, where people really walk the walk, where concepts like justice, social justice, and a toxic-free environment where these ideals are lived every day. And these are the kind of people I want to surround myself with. So it's kind of self-centered in some ways. That
yeah, isn't it though? Yeah, and I feel that way sometimes too. People will come to me and they'll thank me for doing my video work, and
Yes.
and I have to remind them that, you know, that's my ministry. That is for me what brings me joy. So it really is a bit selfish.
Well, I understand. Yeah.
And so I understand exactly what you're saying when you say that. And, you know, but that being said, we at Bloom are very fortunate to have just such wonderful members, and we all bring something to the table.
Yes.
And that's why I truly believe that's why it's called Bloom, and that's why we are a garden. So thank you again for joining us here on After Bloom, and thank you, Mary Lou, for joining me here and letting me have this conversation with you here today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, Russell.
After Bloom. And remember, when you volunteer, the life you change may be your very own.
It's the truth.
If you can't be with us this Sunday, then please be with us in spirit, and please keep us in your prayers, and we will keep you in our prayers. Thank you, God bless, and take care.